Hello, and welcome to my Google Forms tutorial. Google Forms is a simple-to-use Web 2.0 tool that allows you to create a variety of surveys, quizzes, and questionnaires. These forms then can be shared with others to gather opinions, responses, and other information. So without further ado, let's get started. Here are all the topics we will be discussing in this tutorial. Feel free to skip around and focus on whatever topic you need. First, let's talk about templates. When you first go to forms.google.com, you are taken to the Google Forms home screen. If you have created any forms, they will show up here in Recent Forms. At the top, you have a few frequently used templates to choose from. But to give you an idea of how versatile Google Forms can be, let's click on the template gallery to see all the templates available. The templates are separated into three categories: personal, work, and education. In personal, we have contact information, find a time, RSVP, party invite, t-shirt sign up, and event registration. In work, we have event feedback, order form, job application, time off request, work request, and customer feedback. In education, we have blank quiz, exit ticket, assessment, worksheet, and course evaluation. But for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to start from scratch, so let's select blank form. Now let's learn how to add a form title and description. This is a blank form. Where it says Untitled Form, you can name the form however you would like. Let's name this one Tutorial. Under the Untitled Form section, there is a place where you can add a description of your form. For example, let's type in Sample Google Form for Tutorial Video. On the right-hand side of your Google form is an option bar that stays the same for all templates and question types. So let's explore those options now. The first icon is a circle with a plus in it. This button allows you to add questions to your form. The next icon is a page with a right pointing arrow. This allows you to import questions from other Google Forms. The next icon with two letter T's allows you to add a title and description to a question. Next is an image icon. This button allows you to insert images via upload, take a snapshot, by URL, in your albums, via your Google Drive, or a Google search. Under the image icon is a video icon. Use this if you want to add a video from YouTube or by URL. The last icon on this menu bar is two horizontal rectangles. This allows you to add a section to your form. When you add sections, it creates multiple pages to your form. So when responders finish answering all the questions in one section, they will move to a new section of questions on a new page. Another option that appears in Google Forms is the ability to rearrange questions or answer options. Anytime you see 6 dots arranged in 2 rows, you can click and hold to drag an item to rearrange its order. There are also some question options along the bottom that are the same for every question type. Let's look into these now. The double rectangle icon allows you to duplicate a question. The trash can deletes a question. And then you have a toggle switch where you can make a question required or not. Respondents will be notified by a red asterisk if a question is required when they fill out your form. The last option in this bar is a column of 3 dots. These 3 dots open a menu with options that change with each question type. So let's move on to exploring all the question options. A blank form always starts with a multiple choice question, but on the right is a drop-down menu that when we click shows us all the options available. Let's look at each of these in turn. First, let's look at short answer questions. Short answer questions allow a respondent to type in a short answer in response to your question. Let's change our question type to short answer. Whenever you're ready to ask a question, you'll always type it here in the question field. Let's ask a simple question like, what is your favorite color? That is all that will show to the respondent, unless we add options. If you click on the three dots at the bottom right, it opens up an options menu. If you click on description, this adds a description to your question that will be visible to respondents. If you click response validation, it will prompt your respondents with rules and parameters for their response. The rules are number, text, length, and regular expression. The number rule has several parameters, including greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to, between, not between, is number, and whole number. And then you would designate which number you're looking for here in the number field. The text rule has 4 parameters. They include contains, doesn't contain, an email address, or a URL. And then here you would put text that you're looking for. With the length rule, you can set the parameter to maximum character count and minimum character count. And you would add the character count that you're looking for here in the number field. The regular expression rule is a very advanced function. You can make it contain, doesn't contain, matches, or doesn't match. And the pattern is similar to truncation. With all response validation options, you can type in a custom error text that will show when the parameter is not met. The next question type is paragraph. Paragraph questions are great if you want a lengthy response to your question. Let's change our question type to paragraph. Again, you will type your question in the question field. Let's ask, how does your favorite color make you feel? This is all that will show to the respondent, unless we add some more options. When you click on the 3 dots in the bottom right, it opens the options menu for paragraph questions. If you click on description, it adds a description to your question that will be visible to respondents. Response validation limits the types of answers that will be accepted. For this question type, there are 2 response validation rules, length and regular expression. The length rule only has 2 limiters, minimum character count and maximum character count. Again, regular expression is a little advanced, but works similar to truncation. Next, let's discuss the multiple choice question type. Multiple choice questions allow the respondent to select one option from a selection of options you provide. You can type your question in the question field. Let's ask what their favorite color is again. Under the question is where you will add your answer choices. One option field is automatically added, so let's put our first choice there. Now, you can add another option by clicking the words Add Option, or you can simply press Enter after you type in a response option, and then type your next choice. You also have the option to Add Other. This allows the respondent to type in their own answer. Now that we have a complete multiple choice question, let's look at the options. If we click on the 3 vertical dots at the bottom menu bar, we see options for multiple choice questions. First is description. Click this if you want to add a description that will be visible to respondents. And here is an advanced option. Go to section based on answer. That means if a respondent selects a certain answer, let's say yellow, The form will automatically send them to another section or submit the form. You can decide. And finally, we have the option to shuffle option order. This changes the order the answer options appear in when respondents fill out the form.
Let's talk about the checkbox question type next. Check boxes are very similar to multiple choice, but respondents are allowed to select more than one option.
Constructing a checkbox question is very similar to a multiple choice. You have a field where you can type your question and the ability to add options underneath. One option field is automatically added, so let's put our first choice there. Now, to add another option, you can click on Add Option and type in your response, or you can simply hit Enter and type in another option. Now, you also have a tool that's Add Other. This allows the respondent to type in their own choice. Now let's look at the options for checkbox questions. In the three-dot menu, we have the Show Description option, which will show your description of the question to respondents. Next, you have Response Validation. Now, since respondents can select more than one option, you can set the rule as Select at least, Select at most, and Select exactly, and then type a number in the number field. Again, you can type in a custom error text message if the parameter is not met. The last option in the three-dot menu is Shuffle Option Order, which will shuffle the order of the responses for each student.
The next question type in the menu is drop-down. This allows users to select a response from a list of options. This is great if you have a long list of options, since the list doesn't appear until the respondent clicks on the drop-down menu.
For drop-down questions, again, you can type in your question in the question field and responses below. However, drop-down questions do not have the Add Option feature that we saw in multiple choice and checkboxes, so respondents cannot type in their own response. In the three-dot menu, we have the option to show a short description of the question to respondents, and we have the Go to section based on answer option. This is an advanced option that will automatically send users to a specific section based on their response, such as another section or to submit a form. The final option is Shuffle Option Order, which will change the order the options appear in for the respondent.
The next question type is File Upload. This allows respondents to upload a variety of files to answer a question.
When selecting the File Upload question type, first, you have to acknowledge that if respondents upload files from their Google Drive, it will require them to log into their Google account. If you agree, you select Continue, and you get the question builder. Again, you type your question in the Untitled Question field. You can limit the respondents to uploading specific file types by toggling the switch. You can limit file uploads to documents, spreadsheets, PDFs, videos, presentations, drawings, images, or audio clips. Now, the files that are uploaded do not have to be Google files, such as Google Docs, Google Sheets, or Google Slides. They can be Microsoft files like Word, Excel, or PowerPoint. Also, the files can come from the respondent's Google Drive, or they can upload a file from their device. You can also select a maximum number of files a respondent can upload, but your only options are 1, 5, or 10. And finally, you can limit the file size by setting the maximum file size to 1 megabyte, 10 megabytes, 100 megabytes, 1 gigabyte, or 10 gigabytes. The only option under the three-dot menu is to show a description.
The next type of question is linear scale. This type of question can be used to get a rated response, such as on a scale of 1 to 10.
With linear scale questions, you can type your question in the question field. You can start the scale at 1 or 0. and end at 2 to 5. Now, the respondent can only select whole number responses, so this isn't quite a slide bar rater. You also have the option to label what each number represents in the label field. The only option in the three-dot menu is to show your question description.
Next, let's look at the multiple choice grid. This question type creates a grid of questions where respondents can select one answer per row.
Now, the multiple choice grid question can be a little confusing. Each row represents an individual question, and the columns are options the respondents can select for each question. The columns are the same for every question. Really, it's similar to putting a bunch of linear scale questions together. You can type the question in the untitled question field and add as many rows and columns as you need. For example, this question would look something like this. We have the question here, these are the rows, and these are the column options. So people could select that they hate the color blue, or that they hate the color red, but they love the color yellow. There are only a few options in the three-dot menu. The first is to show a description, which shows respondents a short description of your question. The next option is limit to one response per column. This allows the respondent to only select the response in a column one time. So they can't pick the column option more than once in the question. So, for example, if I select I hate the color blue, I cannot also select hate the color red. The last option is to shuffle the row order, so respondents will see the row questions in a different order.
The next question option is checkbox grid, which is similar to a multiple choice grid, but the respondents can select more than one option in each row.
For the checkbox grid question, you can type in the question field and add as many rows and columns as you need. The options in the three-dot menu are the same as the multiple choice grid. Show description, which shows a short description to your respondents. Limit to one response per column, meaning the respondent cannot choose an option again after it has been selected. When you select that option, your question will look like, if I say that blue makes me sad and red makes me angry, I cannot select that yellow also makes me angry. The last option in the three-dot menu is shuffle row order, which changes the order the rows appear in for each respondent.
Next, we have the date question option. This asks respondents to submit a date as their response.
For date questions, we can type in our question in the question field. But to customize our question, we need to go to the three dots menu. The first option is show description. This will show the description to your respondents. The next option is to include a time, which will allow respondents to also type in a time along with their date selection. And the last option is to include year. This allows respondents to also select a year with their date response.
The final question type is time. This type of question allows respondents to type a time as a response.
For time questions, you'll type in your question in the question field. But to customize your question, you need to go to the three-dot menu. The first option is to show a description to your respondents. On time response questions, you must select whether you want a time response or a duration response. A time response allows the respondent to type in an hour, minute, and select AM or PM. The duration response allows the respondents to type in an hour, minute, and second.
Now that we have looked at all the question options, let's look at how to manage responses.
Up at the top of the form is a tab that says Responses. If you have any responses, a number inside a box will appear next to the word Responses. There are two ways you can view your responses: as a summary or by individual. The summary is where the results are shown graphically for each question. At the top right of each question are two overlapping triangles. If you click this icon, it will copy the response to your clipboard. When viewing by individual, it will show what each individual respondent answered for each question. Essentially, it's a copy of their form. You can toggle between the responses from different respondents at the top of the form. You can also print every respondent's answers by clicking the printer icon, or you can delete a respondent's submission by clicking the trash can option. You can also toggle between accepting responses or no longer accepting responses. And you can put a custom message that explains why this form is no longer accepting submissions. You can move the responses to a Google Sheet as well. When you click the Google Sheets icon, it opens an option box, giving you the option to create a new spreadsheet, which you can then name, or select to add your responses to an existing spreadsheet. The other options for responses are available in the three-dot menu. The first option in this menu is to get email notifications for new responses. The next option is to select a response destination. This will allow you to select a spreadsheet where responses will be recorded. You can also download responses as a CSV or comma-separated values file, which is basically a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet in a zipped folder. Another option in this menu is to print all responses. And finally, you can delete all responses here as well.
Now that we know how to make a form, let's explore options that apply to the entire form. First, let's look at how to alter the form title and its location in your Google Drive.
At the very top, where it says Untitled Form, we can rename this form. Usually, the Untitled Form field here reflects what we have titled our form. So let's change that now. To the right of the form title is a folder icon. This allows you to change where this form is located on your Google Drive. To the right of the folder icon is a star. If you click the star, it marks this form with a star in your drive, indicating that it is important or one of your favorites.
Let's move to the right side of our options bar and talk about add-ons.
Moving to the right of our top options bar, the first icon is a puzzle piece. This icon is only available if you are using an education-affiliated Google account. But let's still explore these options. The puzzle piece icon lets you add add-ons. This allows you to manage the scheduling options for the form. In the form scheduler, the first option is to configure schedules. The first option in this pop-up menu is Schedule To, which allows you to set up the form to stop at a maximum, meaning the form will stop accepting submissions after a certain number. You can also set the form to stop accepting submissions at a specific date, like a due date. The final option is only available for a 7-day trial, after which it becomes a premium option that requires you to upgrade your Google account. If we click the add-on icon again and click Form Scheduler, we can see another option called View Scheduled Forms, which allows you to manage all your scheduled forms in one place. Also in the add-on menu, we have a settings option. The settings option is where you can select to have an email sent to you when an error occurs with your form. If we go back to the add-on menu and Form Scheduler, we can find other options like Upgrade to Premium, Contact Google, and Help.
On the right of our top option bar, we have other customization options that allow us to personalize the form.
The next icon is a paint palette icon, which takes us to the Customize Themes option bar. Here you can choose a header image from a large selection of images in various categories. Or you can upload your own photo or your own album. Whichever you choose, it will be displayed at the top of your form. You can also select the theme color for your form. And if you select a Google image from the gallery, coordinating theme colors are provided for you. You can also select a background color, which will be shown behind questions as respondents complete the form. Finally, you can select a font style, which changes the form and question fields on the form.
Now, let's learn how we can preview our form.
The next option at the top of the screen is an eye, which allows you to preview your Google form at any time. This opens a new tab with your form as your respondents will see it. You can also try out the form and submit a response in preview mode.
Next, let's explore the general settings for Google Forms.
The gear icon opens the setting menus, which has 3 tabs: General, Presentation, and Quizzes. In the General tab, you have many options. The first option is to collect email addresses from respondents. And if you select this option, you can also select Response Receipts, which allows respondents to receive a copy of their responses by email. You can set this option to send the receipts only if the respondent requests it, or always. The next option is to limit to 1 response. This requires your respondents to sign into their Google account to ensure that there is only 1 form submission per Google account. The final options in this General tab is to change what respondents can do. The Edit After Submission button allows respondents to change their responses even after they have submitted their form. The See Summary Charts and Text Responses allows the respondents to see summary charts and text responses. Essentially, they can view how others have responded to this form. Under the Presentation tab, you have options that change how the respondents view the form. These options include Show Progress Bar, Shuffle Question Order, and Show Links to submit another response. Also on this tab, you can customize the confirmation message that is displayed when the respondent submits the form. Under the Quizzes tab, you have options that apply if you want your form to be quiz or quiz-like. If you want to change your form into a quiz, toggle the Make This a Quiz switch at the top, which will allow you to assign point values to each question and allow auto-grading. Now, this next option is available only if you have an education-affiliated Google account. Locked mode on Chromebooks prevents respondents from opening other tabs or applications while taking their quiz. However, this requires the respondents to take their quiz on a managed Chromebook. Check with your librarian or technology department to see if your Chromebook can be set up to allow this feature. The next set of options pertain to grades. Grades can either be shown to the respondent immediately after submission or later after manual review. If you select the second option, it turns on your email notifications, which means each submission will be sent to your email for review. The last options change what the respondents can see. If you allow them to see missed questions or not, which shows the respondents exactly which questions were answered incorrectly. The Correct Answers option shows the respondents the correct answer for every question after grades are released. The final option is Point Values, which shows the respondents the total points possible and how many points they received for each question.
Now let's explore the 3-dot menu at the far right-hand side of the top Options menu.
The 3 dots menu includes general options for the form, including things like Undo, which undoes the last action, Make a Copy, which makes a copy of the entire form, Move to Trash, which moves the form to your trash in Google Drive. Get a pre-filled link, which allows you to partially fill out a form and then send the link of the partially completed form to others. And Print, which allows you to print the form. The Add Collaborators option allows you to share the form with others so they can collaborate with you on making the form and monitoring responses. The Script Editor is a very advanced option. It lets you edit the script of the actual web page itself. So if you don't know how to work with HTML, I wouldn't worry about this option. Also in this menu, we have another puzzle piece. These options are available to all Google accounts. These add-ons are apps from the G Suite market space. They are compatible with Google Forms and enhance or manage the forms in some way. The last option in the three-dot menu is Preferences. This opens the default settings for Google Forms. Any changes made here will apply to this form and all future forms, and questions made with this account. The first option is to collect an email address for respondents. The next option is to make all questions required. The final option is to assign a default quiz point value that you select.
Now that our Google form is complete, let's learn how to send and share it so we can get responses.
The final option we will discuss is how you can send out your finished Google form. To get to these options, click on the button that says Send. The first option we see is to collect email addresses. You can check this box if you want to collect email addresses from respondents that complete this form. Now we have options on how we can share this form for it to be filled out. The first option is to send this form via email. You can type as many email addresses in the To field as you need. You can add a subject in the Subject field or just leave it as the name of your form. You can also customize the message in the Message field. You have the ability to include the form in the email. If you do not select this button, respondents will just receive a link in their email. Checking this box will actually embed the form in the email. The next option is to share the form via a link. You can access this option by clicking the linked chain icon. This will display a link that you can copy and paste where you desire. Sometimes these URLs can be long, so you have the option to shorten the URL. The next option is to embed your form on a web page. To do this, click on the opposite facing arrows icon. However, that you cannot embed your form if it includes a file upload question type. Once you click on Embed HTML, an HTML appears that you can copy and paste into a web page. You can also adjust the width and the height of the embedded form. The final options are to share your form via social media sites, Facebook and Twitter. Clicking either of these options will open a new tab requiring you to sign into those sites.
Now, let's locate the Google Help icon.
One last option in Google Forms is the Help button, located in the bottom right corner of the screen. Feel free to consult Google Help if you run into any problems with Google Forms or want to know more about its special features.
Those are all of the options available in Google Forms. Now you know how to create a Google form from scratch, add a variety of question types, customize your form, and share your form. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. Thank you.